social scientist with a show. Um, Please define coping mechanisms for me and anybody else out there that may not have an idea of what that means. Coping mechanisms
No
or some
problem.
examples.
Yeah. So again, coping mechanisms we use to regulate our emotions. So regulate means control, I guess, essentially, but more of keep in balance, keep in line, keep stabilized, right? Keep calm. So it's not like a peak here and a peak there and a valley here and a valley there. It's calm. It's steady. It's what we, it's comfortable. It's something that we're not always reacting to an emotion because they're stabilized, right? So this could be something as simple as taking a bath, right? Calming yourself down when you're having a stressful day. It can be going outside for a hike, getting in touch with nature. Petting an animal actually is very, very calming effects. Writing in a journal, meditating, doing like exercising. Exercising has shown to give people great resiliency with emotional issues as well as physical issues, obviously. So it helps both. So there's just a lot of things to do. Whatever makes you feel calm and is not detrimental or harmful to your health in the long run, or your situation in the long run, or your relationships in the long run, is a healthy coping mechanism. Now, we also have unhealthy coping mechanisms. So, as you mentioned earlier, Paxton, tequila. If every single time
Hey, what is that supposed to mean?
if every single time I got upset, I did a shot of tequila, I would not be a very productive person, right? So it's not doing things in excess, and sometimes it's not doing those things at all if they're going to simply push the problem a couple hours away. They're not going to
Mhm.
help us solve that issue. It's not
Got it.
good for us in the long run, right? It's actually going to stop us from doing that. But if we're so overwhelmed that we just need to have a relaxing night with our friends and maybe we have like a drink or something, that's not necessarily abusing alcohol. That's not necessarily drinking in excess. It's not helpful, right, to solve the issue. But if you need that relaxation before the next day you then go and tackle that issue, that's helpful,
Hmm.
right? It helps you to refill that cup, right? It gives you that energy and those resources that you need to solve your problems when you can relax, right? Now, that's not necessarily the same for illegal drugs, right? You're not going to say, oh, I'm just going to do some illegal drugs and relax and then go solve my issues. That's going to make it worse for you because that's then also causing addiction potential. Harms your relationships, your financial. It. So you don't want to do something that's going to cause you more problems than it's going to solve, right?
Got it.
So those are emotion focused. So problem focused, Paxton. This is my favorite coping mechanism because these are the things we do to actually solve the issues, right? So these could be things like improving your communication skills so that you fight less with your partner,
Mm,
right?
that's a good one.
It could be improving your organization skills so that you're not losing things all the time and stressing yourself out looking for them. It's these little stresses in our days that are actually more likely to cause us health issues in the long run than a major stressful event.
Hmm.
Major stressful events are stressful usually temporarily, right? And then we get through it, we have our support, and we move on and we move forward. These things that stress you out every single day are what is actually harmful. So these are the things that we want to be problem solving, right? I see so many people worrying about big things that are happening down the line, right? Really big things, really big events or functions or something like that. And that's normal, of course. But the same people don't spend nearly as much time solving the stresses throughout the day that they already have.
So we start to pile on
Yeah,
stresses and stressful circumstances on ourselves if we're not careful.
that can become very normalized and it can feel very normal, right? How many people do you ask how they're doing and they're just like, oh, same, same as usual, not excited, not passionate, not living a life that they enjoy just because every single day there are so many little stresses they're putting up with that they can't fathom a big stress coming around the corner. They have to know what's going to be going on, right? these are the kinds of things that just cause us more and more and more stress. You know, I love my quotes. And so one of my favorite ones for today is don't use today's energy for tomorrow's problems.
Oh, I'm
Right?
sorry. I'm sorry. Do we have a quote of the day? Do you have a button for the quote of the day over there?
I
If not, I'll
should.
use one of wait, I'm gonna use mine. I'm gonna pick one over here, and
Okay.
then you're gonna pick yours, but we're gonna use yours. So the quote of the day coming from you, that's all I got. Hey, you pick one.
Let's see. Oh man,
You got too many choices, see?
I do. Maybe. Oh, I don't have a good one for quote of the day. Maybe this.
Okay, that's good enough. So your quote of the day, and then we might want to Coach turn to Sylvia. She has something that she wrote, and
Yes, Sylvia.
Tiffany sent out some love to us. But go right ahead. You were going to say your quote of the day, Madame.
Yeah, so the quote of the day is don't use today's energy on tomorrow's problems. You have enough stresses that are already going on that you can deal with in that day that will make tomorrow less stressful, but you're dealing with it in that day. You're not, trying to control every single big event that might happen to you around the corner. You're not trying to, anticipate huge life changing things happening because you're dealing with the things that are actually going on. So you don't have time to worry about that stuff, right? You're already dealing with the things that you can.
Well, Sylvia she gives us, as far as I can tell, the first tip of the day outside of the ones you've been mentioning. She says, sometimes I go walk in the park and feel better, but I am not always able to calm down. Sometimes I still explode. Anger is my problem, she says, triggered by narcs poking at me nonstop. Tiffany, by the way, sends out love to us. Thank you, Tiffany, for being here. We appreciate it. And Ann sends out some love as well. And others that are joining, Navy Chick 91, Jolie, and some others that are here, S2N and Levy. Okay, boss. Sylvia gave you something to work with there.
Yes, yes. Again, thank you guys all so much for being here. Sylvia, thank you so much for sharing one of your strategies and the fact that it doesn't always work for you. Um, I'm wondering where these narcs are in your life. Is this someone that you're living with? Is this someone who kind of always has access to you? Or is this something that is happening more like through your phone and people, doing it that way? Is it work? Is it family? A little bit more insight on that situation would be helpful. And if you don't want to talk about it publicly, please feel free. Okay, flatmates. Okay. That one, yeah, it can be a bit difficult to navigate sometimes. Um, Now, obviously, my first question is this a situation that you are unable to leave? Like, is it not an option to either not live with these people or find a new place? Just because obviously the best solution is if we can to get away from the people or the things that are causing us that stress. But if that's something that we're unable to do, then we can put in place other coping mechanisms to ensure that we're able to deal with it a little bit better. While you're answering, if that is what you're doing, Sylvia, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about some things that you can do because of having to live with narcissists. Uh, what I would recommend is, okay, trying to save some money makes total sense, especially right now. So it's not really an option to leave. That's just good for me to know. So one of my all-time favorite pieces of advice or guidance or suggestion is a journal. And that's especially true if you're living with a narcissist, simply because gaslighting and things like that exist. And so when you keep a journal, you can actually keep events in your own words and how they happened as like kind of a chronological story. And that way, if someone tells you something didn't happen, or you didn't say something, didn't ask something, didn't request something, you've actually got a log of you doing that. So I'm not sure what the specific issue is with those flatmates, But things like that can actually keep it so that you know that you are remembering things correctly, that you're not able to be manipulated by things like gaslighting, where someone is trying to make you believe something that's not real, or something didn't happen that did, things along those lines.
Just in case you have just entered this free live show, these shows are put on for education purposes and much more. But we have a live open chat going now with Coach Jess. Coach Jess offers 30-minute free consultations. And you also mentioned something today as well. You're able to do what else you mentioned?
I'm going to offer an additional 30-minute actual coaching session to our audience members and people engaging with the show. So just simply go follow my accounts at Life Plus Coaching. Make sure you're also following NARC Abuse TV, obviously, so you can find us here, and the at Coach Jess 2021 page. Shoot me a DM on at Life Plus Coaching, and we can arrange that all through there. I just want to get to know you guys. I want to know what's going on. I want to be able to offer you specific solutions or suggestions or guidance for whatever it is that you're dealing with. This isn't a one-sided conversation. I want to hear from you. I want to engage with you. I want this to be very open, safe, non-judgmental space where you can come in and let me know what's going on, and we can chat about it. And, other people that are watching, other people that are coming through, they're going to get value out of this. So please don't feel like you're the only one dealing with whatever it is you're going through. I promise you, you're not.
By all means, you know that you can find Coach Jess on NARC Abuse TV network every other week on a Saturday at 1 p.m. here in California, Pacific Standard Time. She is actually in Canada. So you, Jess, are in Canada. Coach Jess is in Canada. She will be on there at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we do these shows. So feel free to jump into the chat. This free live chat is something that we have here. It is an hour and 5 minutes that we will be spending on here for you to get a chance to meet and talk with Coach Jess. She has multiple subjects that we will be covering. I'm giving everyone that has just joined an update, an overall update of what we're here doing if you've never passed through before. This is all free to the public here on NARC Abuse TV Network. Coach Jess' show is today discussing coping mechanisms. She has asked if, by all means, you have some coping mechanisms that you like to share as tips. Great. If you'd like to get some more information, she has a 30-minute free consultation. But more importantly, she's offering her services for free for 30 minutes outside of the initial consultation. So you have that available to you or anyone that you know. Coach, back to you.
Thanks, Paxton. I appreciate your, what's the word for it? Summary.
I got it like that, girl.
Beautiful, beautiful. So back to coping strategies. As I was mentioning, so there's two very distinct categories with emotion focus and problem focus. I'm just going to go through now our 3 R's, our new 3 R's of mental wellness, relationships, recovery, and resiliency. And I want to talk a little bit about specific emotion focused and problem focused coping mechanisms within each of those categories. Some of them will be similar, but some of them may not be. So I just want to go a little bit into what that actually looks like when we put it into place. What real life examples of that would be. So it's not so difficult to take that from theory and put it into your life, right? An idea that you can't necessarily imagine. It's going to be a bit easier if we talk about some specific things. So I want to, again, go back to Sylvia's wonderful example of going to take a walk when she's having some negative emotions about her flatmates, her narcissistic flatmates. That is an example of a phenomenal emotion-focused strategy. So it actually can be seen as a problem-focused strategy too. For instance, if she is feeling like simply being in the flat is causing part of the issue some of the time, leaving that is part of problem solving, right? So Sylvia, I don't want to say that you're not doing the right thing. You absolutely are. Add that journaling in just to give you a bit more of again, some evidence for yourself to make sure that things that are going on, you're not being lied to about, that kind of stuff. So keep yourself safe that way. Um, but sometimes, coming back from those walks or on those walks, I guess you're still feeling a bit angry. So in dealing with that anger, one of the things that comes up is our fight or flight system when we're feeling that stress. So narcissistic flatmate does something stressful, you feel that fight or flight response that starts going through your body. And what that does is actually release stress hormones throughout your body. And so our fight or flight mode is getting us ready for exactly that, fighting or fleeing. So our body needs to do something more physically active potentially than just going for that walk. So you could try to, if you have some privacy or a place to go work out, you could use some jumping jacks or some push-ups, anything, run in place,
Jump
something
rope.
that, yeah, jump rope, exactly, something that you can do in your home, use a kettlebell, that gets your heart going. Something that you can do to activate that, your cardio essentially. That's going to help the stress hormones move through your body quicker, and that's actually going to release some really nice feel good chemicals in your brain that are, they might give you a bit of a natural high when you do some of that exercise. So that is a bit more problem solving, even more specifically. Hi, Shay Shay. Hi, April. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm so happy that you guys are here. We're talking about, as Paxton just summarized so beautifully, coping mechanisms. So if you know what those are, or if you have any that you've been using, feel free to add to the chat whatever coping mechanisms you find work best for you, or let me know of some that you've tried that don't work, because they're not all going to work for everybody. So please let me know what it is that you do to deal with and relieve negative or uncomfortable emotions, essentially.
Sylvia gave you a thumbs up on some of your advice there. We are opening this chat up for everyone. If you're emotionally comfortable with it, and feel free to do so. Any coping mechanisms that you have that can be shared with the group, feel free to do so. We are going to have, of course, future shows, and we will make it available to you to be able to call into us, and we'll be able to have you call into the show. If you don't feel like typing all your answer out, you can speak directly and have your audio pumped into the show, and you can talk directly to the coach through a phone call or a phone-in call. Coach, you're getting some love on the screen, a lot of hearts and some hellos. Give us some more advice there on coping mechanisms in leading us in this group chat. We have gone 31 minutes. Our show will go an hour and 5 minutes, so feel free to jump in.
Please do, and especially if you have any questions, if something I'm saying is not completely clear to you, or if you just want a bit more information about something, please feel free to just type whatever it is that you want to say into the chat box there. April here, I'm going to read your message. I find it having to reset my thoughts exhausting. How do I rest? Very, very good question. Art for Ani is saying that breathing helps her. Now, breathing is a very, very common relaxation technique. April, my question to you is, what are you doing now to reset those thoughts? And what exactly do you mean by that? I just want to know specifically if you're comfortable here. If not, again, please feel free to DM me. We can chat a bit after the show. But let me know a bit more specifics about that so that I can base my suggestion or guidance around what you're already doing. Now,
Anastasia, sorry to cut you off there, boss. I just want to say Anastasia, Art for ANI, mentions the breathing has helped her.
Mm-hmm.
How does breathing help for those? I mean, I had to learn it just doing this show, not just this one, but having this channel.
Hmm.
So I know there are a lot of people have no idea how breathing can help, but it actually does work. What do you say, Coach?
It's actually a very interesting topic. Now, I love to talk about fight or flight. I love to talk about the things that our brain and body does to protect us. And now, so very specifically, breathing in and out has two very different functions. So breathing in actually stimulates the part of your central nervous system that is involved in stress or fight or flight.
Hmm,
Now, breathing out is it stimulates the part of the central nervous system that is involved in rest and digestion. So that breathing out is calming your body down. Breathing in is kind of hyping it up to get ready for something. So my
interesting.
favorite breathing technique, and it's so simple, is breathing out for twice as long as you breathe in.
Will that mean that I'm gonna fall asleep real quick, and then when I breathe in, I'm gonna want to eat a donut?
Not quite that quickly. Um,
Check it.
So doing that breathing technique, you're gonna have to repeat it a few times before you notice the difference. But if you are actually quite activated, quite triggered in your fight or flight already, you may notice your heartbeat actually slowing down pretty quickly. And that is just due to how our central nervous system works and what's
From
going on. So
from exhaling. So you're saying
from exhaling, yeah.
exhaling that our heartbeat will start possibly to slow down?
Yes, yeah, because it is
Wow.
preparing your body for that rest and digest. So if you also notice, some people who get stressed out begin hyperventilating because they're trying to
Yes.
get more air in because they need that oxygen to go to their muscles and their organs so they can get ready to fight or flee,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's kind of the opposite effect. Now we don't push all the air out of our body in a reactive way to much. But if we can do that consciously, we actually can calm our bodies down physiologically. Some people, though, they do have a bit of panic or anxiety around breathing and breathing issues. I would not recommend this for those people because that may make your stress actually worse. I only would recommend that for those who are comfortable and don't have any respiratory illnesses or conditions.
May work for some, but not for all.
Exactly, exactly. And that's the truth for absolutely everything that I will say on this show. Nothing that I say will apply to absolutely everyone unless it is biological. Then that's just something that it is.
You have more on the screen, quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit. April says breathing is really good, works for her. Anastasia, who will be a guest on our show soon,
Wonderful.
mentions on NARC Abuse TV. She mentions inhale, count 4, hold, count 4, exhale, count 4, repeat 4 times. So that's there for
Mm-hmm.
many of you who will watch this back in the replay. That was a suggestion that's here in the group chat, the live group chat. But you have more on the screen, Coach.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to address that actually quickly first before we go to the next comment. So for Anastasia, who's mentioning that breathing exercise, in those instances, what might be actually helping more than the breathing itself is the distraction in our minds. So a lot of times when we're panicked, we're having anxiety, we're stressed or overwhelmed, it's
Hmm.
because we're having too many chaotic thoughts or intrusive thoughts. So simply counting our breaths, doing a pattern such as that, it gives us a sense of a bit of control, and it
Hmm.
allows us to have a go-to in our mind that when it's feeling overwhelmed or chaotic, we can distract ourselves in that manner. And it's not harmful to us. It can be incredibly helpful. But that's not necessarily as biologically related as the inhale exhale for 2 counts that I mentioned previously. So they work, they all work for some people for different reasons, right?
Chaotic thoughts or negative situations, can they be the catalyst that start the panic attacks? And if we don't have the proper coping mechanisms, we could find ourselves in a really bad habit.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So, chaotic thoughts, if we have intrusive thoughts, which basically means things that come into our head without us consciously trying to think of them. So these can include traumas, negative things that happen to us, embarrassing situations, things that we don't necessarily want to be reminded of. Hi, Chelsea. Thank you so much for joining us. So happy that there's so many of us here. So again, it's a wonderful conversation, just like we had the last time. Sorry, back to your question there, Paxton. Um, what can happen is when we have this intrusive thought, it might make our heart start beating a little faster, right? We don't necessarily enter into fight or flight right away when we have a trigger. We slowly build into it, right? And based on the habits or reactions that we do just naturally, or that we have copied someone else who does it that way, um, that kind of stuff, like it can either make the stress worse, it can either induce the panic attack, or it can make it better. And so that's where coping mechanisms come into place. You want to use these coping mechanisms as quickly as possible when you're feeling triggered by something, because there will be a point where you're not going to be able to think of a coping mechanism, right? So please make sure that these are things that you're practicing when you are calm, because it's pretty difficult to think of coping mechanisms and think of ways to calm ourselves down logically and rationally when we're so excited and stimulated and in that fight or flight already. So if that is, if we are waiting until then, it can already be too late to kind of get out of that anxiety or bad thought cycle. But if we are able to intervene and start doing some small coping mechanism, grounding exercises, relaxation exercises to bring ourselves a bit down, then we can calm ourselves down. So it's not necessarily going to get us there right away. Another culprit, though, of this is simple bodily functions. So sometimes people who are low on sugar, their heart starts beating quickly, right? Or if you haven't eaten or if you haven't slept properly, your heart might just be beating a bit weird that day. You have a thought, oh, my heart's beating weird. That must mean something's wrong. And then you start listing all these things in your head that's wrong. And you start thinking that one of them is bringing some impending doom because your body's reacting that way when it's simply a biological function, right? You need to eat something. You need to get some
We need a
rest.
Snickers, huh?
Yeah, exactly, Paxton.
We
Exactly.
need some chocolate kisses. We need some chocolate kisses and then pull the little foil off and we pop a couple of those and go like, I feel good. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Exactly.
And it
Exactly.
doesn't necessarily mean we're having a heart attack. It may mean that we're overthinking a situation or a catastrophe that doesn't even exist.
Yeah. Or we're creating one out of all of the bad thoughts that we haven't dealt with in our head already, or the intrusive thoughts that come in that we let build up instead of um, go after and look for evidence that backs them up or denies them. We have so many people coming through here. So Tootie Pooper, I know that is Susan. Thank you for joining us. Claire Bear,
Susan.
yeah,
Susan's in the house. I'm sorry, boss. I just
that's
wanted to
okay.
I wanted to get to a comment there from as I will always do, butcher someone's Instagram name. Henna is here, and Henna had a thought. She says, I've put on so much weight through all the stress and keep eating. I've just started my divorce procedures. What coping strategies can you suggest to make to take me through while still living together with someone that she's having the divorce procedures
Yeah.
with? She sends you a little heart there and says thank you.
Oh, what a sweetheart. Thank you for asking. Thank you for bringing this topic up. Like I said, you don't know how many other people who might come through or are here that are dealing with the same subject. So I really appreciate your genuineness and your willingness to be a bit vulnerable with us. So thank you so much. And I have a few suggestions for this actually. First and foremost, might sound a bit silly, and I'm not sure exactly the relationship you have with your husband or ex-husband rather, or what that's like, but I would suggest some ground rules, so that you guys both have, a set of things that you agreed to, based around, mutual respect and care and kindness and all of those things that you need to live comfortably together. That document should be signed and dated by both of you, not for any legal reasons, but simply to, if one of you breaks that rule, you're like, but, we both agreed to it. Both of our signatures are there. The date is there. We both agreed to this. If we're going to live together while this is happening, we have to be adults and we both have to abide by these rules, right? Now, if this is someone potentially that is not wanting to abide by rules or have things in place or agree with those things, I would strongly suggest working on healthy boundaries. So if he's not going to follow any rules along with you, you make rules for yourself. You don't have to necessarily share them with him up front or whatever it might be, but you want to be able to communicate that in some way, whether it's when he is crossing those boundaries or beforehand. Be consistent and be assertive with doing that. You need to be consistent because otherwise they will find ways to bypass those boundaries. They will always try to get through if they can. And that's, again, if we're speaking about a narcissist or someone who is more selfish than selfless with their emotions and their care of other people. So please, Sabs, Henna, please let me know if that answers your question at all or gives you any more insight into what you could potentially do to deal with that. And if I'm right in what it is that I'm guessing at with the specifics. And that way I can alter my response to you if that's not quite what you were looking for. Amazing. So Anastasia here has another question here. Let's see. Would warn you here with the narcissist, any paper would end up in court. Right, but you're not doing anything wrong with this, right? You're not saying like every day you have to give me $25, like right? Like it's not going to be something like that. It's going to be something that shows dual care for each other, right? So you're not trying to take advantage or get anything out of this that you're not due in sharing a residence with someone who you once had a caring relationship with. So that's not something that I would be afraid to show up in court either. That would be a good argument for saying that you were trying to keep stability or regulation in the household while you're dealing with this difficult issue. Yeah, so I'm hoping that is helpful. Don't know how it will turn against you. It sounds to me like you have a bit of experience with a narcissist and potentially this particular issue or something similar to that. So I'm interested in a bit more specifics about that too, Anastasia, and that might mean I have to tune into your show with Paxton when you guys do that on the
I don't know about
Narcs
that. I don't
Network.
know about that. We're just gonna goof off. One of the things that I appreciate from some of the divorce lawyers and others that deal with narcissists, uh, that things can be established in writing via email, if you know what I mean. Uh, but it can be very, very helpful in many different instances. Anastasia, we will see you again. What are you saying sorry for? You
Oh,
don't have to
please
say
don't be
sorry.
sorry. Yeah, no,
You're
please,
funny.
please, please don't be sorry.
We
I love
we love you.
everyone and
We love you.
anyone's input on this. It sounds like when with the things that you're saying, it just sounds like you have more experience than I would in this particular situation, and I'm always ready to admit and accept that. I'm not the expert in everything, and especially if you have like legal expertise that trumps my knowledge of the law in every way, especially American law, because I'm over here in Canada. So please do not apologize for adding your information here. And please, please, please never be afraid to add things that you have more information on than I do. That's wonderful. That's the community we're trying to build here. So please, please don't be sorry. And I'm so sorry if I made you feel like your information was unwelcome. That was not my intention. Oh, we have Lisa who joined. Amazing, amazing. And no more. Thank you guys again
I was
for
gonna
joining
let you
us
say
today.
that. I was gonna let you say that. I was gonna say it, but I changed my mind.
That's
Shush
okay.
no more is here. Lisa is here.
Mhm.
Ocean Girl, the Almighty, Ra. The amazing names that everyone has. I truly give you a lot of credit. You're very, very creative. Of course, Maywish has is here or has passed through. And as we mentioned, we had uh, Anastasia. I'm looking at, is that Elva or Ella? Elevit, Elevitchik.
Oh,
I love
Mark
it.
Matthews here now.
Matthew with the second edition of his book.
He sent it to me. It's really, really cool. It's very, very interesting. I love what he's done to, again, make terms more available to people so they understand what everyone's talking about.
There you go.
Yeah.
You got a good book there. When it comes to coping mechanisms, often there are certain coping mechanisms many people can know about: alcohol, drugs, maybe even exercising too much, a number of different things. Matt is saying thank you. Pornography, a number of different things that can come into play. Overeating. Any other things that come to mind?
Yeah, so those are, you're listing there quite a few negative or unhealthy coping mechanisms. So those are things that they might make you feel good immediately or in the short term, um, but not necessarily in the long term. So this could be, being incredibly or engaging in risk-taking behavior. So being very promiscuous, going strange places with strange people and not telling people where you are, things like that, that can be dangerous for you. You can feel good in the moment, but something might happen to you, right? Partying all the time with your friends, just not dealing with any of your actual issues or responsibilities. You're making yourself feel good in the short term, but in the long term, you're causing yourself more problems because you're not dealing with the things that you have committed to or have a responsibility to. Overspending, right? Shopping all the time. Like I've seen, especially women. A lot of women that I know, they shop when they're upset, and that is not necessarily a great coping mechanism. I mean, if you can afford it, great, but you might also be contributing to, a garbage issue on the planet. Fast fashion, things like that, that are big global issues. In addition to maybe you don't have money to pay rent next month, or you don't know how you're going to feed your kids or your family. So we really have to look at these things in long term. And, regardless of whether they make you feel good right this second, you need to look at that long term picture. I'm not going to pretend we don't have times where we need to numb out for a little bit. We need to distract ourselves for a little bit, right? I've experienced those too. Where you just don't want to think about what's going on, and that's normal, especially as a reaction to large traumatic incidents or events, or long-term traumatic incidents or events. That's normal, right? It's not necessarily healthy to keep that going long term. You can't, well, I mean, you can, but it's not healthy for you to numb yourself out for weeks at a time. April here talking about reading self-care books, helping to learn about yourself and healing. Fantastic. That is a wonderful coping strategy. That is actually one of my favorites, is research and information collection. That is my favorite thing to do when I'm stressed out about something. It helps you to feel more confident and comfortable in the subjects that might be bringing or causing you stress. So do research, Google. Oh, she's saying it's a great book, The Courage to Be Disliked. That sounds fantastic. That is something I absolutely had to learn to do in my lifetime. So I like the title. It speaks to me already. What do you think, Paxton?
I'm waiting for you to send me that book. The title of the book, April, is Courage to Be Disliked. Is that the title of the book?
Oh, and Anastasia, thank you. I'm so glad you stayed here. It's one thing important to recognize your patterns and uh, how sorry and know that those, I don't have my glasses on my face, so it's hard for me to read.
I was not gonna say it. I was not gonna say it. Okay.
Not just for show,
Okay, so
people.
everybody watching this, I want you to know I am sitting back here watching her try to read this, and I am deliberately not saying a word
Okay,
because I'm
but when I
going,
put these
the
on,
girl's got glasses and looks just
yeah.
fine with her glasses on, and she's like trying to read it. Forget that. Go with you look just fine with your glasses. Can you
I just
please
feel like
read Anastasia words now?
yes. I
Okay,
think I
thank you.
can. I think I
You
can.
see, Anastasia, you see that? She's trying to. Now, if there was
See, I
like
don't know everything.
If there was like 3 words up there, she would have kept going. She would have
I
read
would
it,
have.
and
I would
everybody
have.
would have said, "Oh, she doesn't need glasses. Paxton is the only one with glasses on." But I'm sitting there going like, "Why won't she put her glasses on? Just put your glasses up." Vanity,
This is what happens when you have
vanity,
to stare at yourself.
vanity. You look just fine. Now,
Oh.
can you please give my dear friend Anastasia some props and read her?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Anastasia, my apologies. I can see now. So,
You can see now. Oh my lord.
all right, let's
Oh
see.
my.
It's, I think, important to recognize your patterns and know that those are your coping mechanisms, shopping and otherwise. Absolutely. We talked a little bit about this on our last show about family relationships. And within them, how your family of origin, whether intentionally taught or not, you will eventually mirror or use the coping strategies that they've just done, simply because you weren't taught otherwise, or maybe you weren't taught better. So you may mirror some unhealthy coping mechanisms that your parents did, or your older brothers and sisters, or older kids, or other people's parents, whoever it might be that you looked up to, right? It's something that we just take like naturally. That is a very common way children learn from their parents, is by mirroring, which sounds just like that. It's copying what they do in different situations. And as children, you don't know any better. So that family of origin is the only information that you get when you're a kid about how the world works. And so you do what they do. And so it's not your fault. You didn't choose to necessarily have unhealthy coping mechanisms. But as an adult, I truly feel it is your responsibility to recognize those coping mechanisms, those patterns, those things that we do to deal with our negative and uncomfortable emotions, and make sure they are healthy, and make sure they aren't hurting those around us or hurting us or our future selves down the line. So thank you so much, Anastasia, for adding that. I really appreciate um, that you gave me an opportunity with my glasses on.
She can see now.
You guys
So
are awesome.
if you have just arrived, we go 1 hour and 5 minutes, and then we're done with this free live group chat. Today's subject, Coach Jess. This is the Coach Jess show. Excuse me, get tongue tied there. This is the Coach Jess show on NARC Abuse TV network. There are 2 shows on this network, the Coach Jess show, as well as NARC Abuse TV. Today, Coach Jess is discussing coping mechanisms, how we can live a life with coping mechanisms that are healthy, recognizing coping mechanisms that are unhealthy. We've been able to get a number of people give us some tips of what works for them, and we still have some to discuss that are on the screen. We have gone 56 minutes, Coach, and 35 seconds. So we will be discussing a few more things before we go. This show is on every other Saturday at 1 p.m. here in California, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because Coach Jess is in Canada. Coach, you are offering to everyone that comes to the show in this group chat 30-minute free consultation. But you did mention something else that you're offering to everyone first time today, that you're making sure to connect with everyone by offering what else, please?
So in addition to the consultation, it'll be another 30-minute session, essentially. So it'll be a specific time for us to talk about anything specific in your life that you're looking for guidance and support with. And you will leave with at least 1 or 2 new things to try to help you get through whatever it is that you are currently experiencing that you need some guidance and support with in regards to mental wellness.
Available also to you is the coach's Facebook group, as well as being able to DM her or private message her at 2 locations. What are those 2 locations they can reach out to you if they need assistance and help?
The
Because you've
first one,
offered this free help. But go ahead.
yeah, no problem. So the first one is at Life Plus Coaching. So that is my business Instagram. I also put a lot of informative things up there. So please check that out, follow, and you can DM me there. And you can also DM the show at Coach Jess 2021. please make sure you follow that one as well. It's going to give us a bit of a gauge of our audience and what that looks like and where you guys are from and all that good stuff.
We have come together to provide you this free TV, free education, and free consultation because, well, no one else is doing it. And we opted to put our resources together so that you know it's available to you. If you feel emotionally unsettled, if you feel that your centrifugal force emotionally or mentally doesn't feel right, you can reach out to us here on NARC Abuse TV show, as well as the Coach Jess show on NARC Abuse TV network. We have gone now 59 minutes. We will be ending the show soon. But before we go, we have a lot on the screen that we need to get to, Coach. I'm going to scroll back up, but feel free with your glasses on now. I'm messing with you, girl.
I'm used to it.
Feel free to go ahead and talk about whatever you see on the screen. Thank you, Ann and others, for the love you're showing. I'm just going to scroll back here. Do you want me to read stuff to you, Coach? You tell me what you want.
Yeah, that would be great if you don't mind.
Okay, so Anastasia, you're so kind. She loves the show. You're getting your turn, I think, next week or the week after because she's going to be on the show. But April mentions that I believe the book is Japanese that she was talking about. I'm not sure. The book was entitled Courage to be Disliked. I love that title. That's kind of like my life. Sylvia, I don't know if you saw this. Sylvia said comedy also helps her in watching something funny as a form of coping mechanism.
You know what? That is one of the most common things, and it is wonderful. Comedy is the best medicine. It is helpful. Honestly, even if nothing is funny, if you are upset and you just bust out laughing, your body is going to make you feel good. It activates something in our brain that gives us those happy chemicals. So try it. Prove me a liar.
Yeah, I go back and look at my baby pictures just to make me laugh. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I don't do that. But anyhow, Ocean Girl 1900 says, I've started art classes. Okay, now, wait a minute. Hold on. This one for the comedy. Okay, thank you. We needed that tip. This one from Sylvia. She said about going for a walk. Anastasia mentioned about the breathing. Okay, it's your turn. You got to give us some cheers on your end. I'm going to say one. Are you get ready? Get ready on your console over there. Okay, so let me see. Ocean Girl says she started art classes. Damn it, I like that. Okay, okay. So let's see here. We're just fooling around, you guys. I know. So let's see here. Sharon Ledgewood is here. You got one for that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's see. Sylvia, of course, contributed to the show today.
I love it. You guys are so great.
That's the one I wanted. I knew you would play it. Okay, Sylvia said music, of course. So music. Okay, I love it. Okay, look, guys, this is free TV. We've got nothing better to do. This is not the Disney Channel. Okay, so Dr. Anisha, I'm just tearing up her name and a lot of us coming in. Enjoy it, you guys. The doctor was here too, so let's get one for the doctor that showed up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, guys,
it says
what else you got?
short smile when I push that button. So
Does it really?
I was expecting it to be like this one. Or something similar. So Dr. Anisha, I'm not laughing that you are here. I'm very happy about it.
Look what you did. You just alienate people. What is your problem?
Oh, I'm such a bully.
Okay. No, you're not. Okay, so music, of course, Sylvia said, but I'm sorry. Notice there, April says 2 words. Go ahead. You can say it. You can say the 2 words and then push a button for us, please.
Pamper yourself.
Awesome.
I wanted to see what you were going to push. Okay, so, hey, listen, pamper yourself, people. Candles, music, I don't know. If it's push-ups for you, jumping jack, jump rope, Coach, you've took us on an eye-opening moment here in the chat. Coping mechanism. The Coach Jess show is the content of the Coach Jess herself. It's not me. So there are a number of things that were discussed today that are very beneficial to others. Anastasia mentions sport or sports. So
wait, I have a button for that.
Oh, wait, go ahead. I love that one. You know, I like that one too. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, so everybody, please, that's a good one. Okay, so everybody, please, when I upload this show, feel free to make those same suggestions in the comments of the show. Please, I am asking you, out of the kindness of your heart, to take the time to put in the coping mechanisms that you have, because a number of people download these shows on their own servers and not off of Instagram's platform, and they watch it. But they will take note of the comments. So if you have any mechanisms that work for you, please do so, and always follow, like, comment, share, follow Coach Jess, Life Plus Coaching, Coach Jess 2021. Coach, anything else you'd like to say? We have gone 1 hour and 4 minutes.
Well, just this.
I love it. You guys are so great.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. I really, really hope to see all of you in my Facebook group. Again, just go over to my page at Life Plus Coaching, click on the link there, and it will show you my Better Than Okay mental wellness Facebook group. Ocean Girl has another suggestion here. Gardening.
Oh, gardening.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That deserves, let's see.
Everyone.
Perfect.
Thank you for being here. Coach, any last words?
You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for engaging, for having a conversation, for being vulnerable, for giving us your expertise. You guys are all just incredible. I really, really appreciate you taking the time and joining us, and I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks.
See you soon, everybody. Thank you. Coach Jess show is out.